Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You know, winter is finally here after a really long fall. And so it's time to be thinking about the cold weather and all the exciting adventures that you can have during the winter months. But the challenge, of course, is staying warm. And my friends at Hcalory sent me their new toolbox diesel heater. Well, you know, I have reviewed a lot of products over the years, and I've reviewed several of these from Hcalory. But I'm going to tell you what, this is by far, and I mean by far, the most advanced diesel heater that I have ever seen. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, right out of the box, the first thing that I noticed was the construction of this thing. You know, a lot of these toolbox heaters are made with some really light metal and mostly plastic that is just flimsy. This thing is in no way, shape, or form flimsy in any way. It's got two handles to pick it up with. You attach these feet onto it, which I love because it keeps the exhaust up off of the ground. It has a covered control, and then, I mean, I couldn't believe this. It actually will pop out, and it comes with an extension cable that allows you to disconnect it here, run the cable from this into, say if I'm using it with the truck, I can run it into the truck. Or I know I'm sitting here doing all this and you're going, come on, Keith. But this sits down in here so well. And I'm charging this now, but this fits down in here. And what is this? This is a remote control. And you say, whoop-de-doo. Hang on. It has got its own battery. It's USB-C rechargeable. It is a thermometer, so that if you've got this in the truck with you or wherever in the tent, it shows the temperature inside the tent. And it is also a CO, a carbon monoxide detector or alarm. So that is, you know, the biggest fear that people have from one of these heaters is, am I going to die in my sleep from carbon monoxide poisoning? Well, I always take a carbon monoxide detector and a smoke alert or alarm with me whenever I'm in a tent or my truck or van or a motorhome. It doesn't matter. If you're using this at home as an emergency heat source, you still want a carbon monoxide detector. They have thought of everything with this. They have one right here that comes with it. Fits right down in here for easy storage. It has a huge diesel tank. This thing holds a maximum of 7.5 liters. I had to look it up, but that is like 1.98 gallons. So it's just a little less than 2 gallons. The big diesel tank that I have in my van that I use with the diesel heater in it is only 3 gallons, and I only have to fill that up once or twice a winter. So this gives you plenty of diesel to run in the coldest weather for basically an entire weekend. That, trust me, that's amazing. It has the larger output. And what they have found on the larger output is the volume of air coming out basically remains the same, but it's not constricted, causing some back pressure. And what this does is this allows for the air coming past the burn chamber and into your your vehicle or tent to be, it stays nice and cool. As far as when I say cool, what I mean is when you get back pressure in these burn chambers can get up to 300 or 400 degrees, and you don't want that. You want the air coming out of this at 110 or 130 or 40 degrees. You know, you don't want this to burn the skin off of your hand. So they have found that by going with this larger tube, it gives you more volume of air and it works really well. Okay, next, the power source. This comes with two separate power sources. It has one that you can hook up to your battery and plug it in. And it also has a wall charger. Now, here is a confusing thing. People really get confused with this. They think because they see this, that they can just take a plug like off of a computer or something and plug it right in there and plug it into the wall. This is DC. This is not AC current. This is not household current. It doesn't take that. It takes 12 volt. What this does is you plug it into the wall and it takes the 110 volts of AC and converts it down to 12 volts of DC. And this comes with it. So that means you can use this in a situation where if you're at a campground that there's a plug-in, instead of running it off of a battery, you can run it right off of the 110 AC outlet. As long as you use this. Now, I've got this set onto a 12 volt Life Pro 4 lithium battery. So this is going to give me 12 volts. Now, here is something that is asked a lot, and that is, will this run off of like a solar generator, you know, a Hcalory type device? Or will it run off of my cigarette plug? Unfortunately, the startup on these will pull about 11.5 to 12 amps. So what that means is cigarette lighters in cars and the cigarette receptacle on the Hcalory are only rated at 10 amps. So therefore, they don't produce enough amperage for that short period of time during startup to run one of these. So the best thing you can do is get you a, what I'm using is a 50 amp hour battery, or you can use, you know, a trolling motor battery. It doesn't matter. As long as it produces at least 12 amps of power. And any battery is going to produce that. Okay, what else do I want to talk about? It comes with all the standard stuff you get with all the diesel heaters. It's got its exhaust pipe. And it comes with a muffler if you want to use it. Clamps for the vent. And a really pretty easy to understand manual. And of course that's important too. All right, let's fire this bad boy up. One more thing that I forgot to tell you, and that is that this also has an app for your phone, and you can control this through Bluetooth onto your phone. You can do all the things on your phone that you can do on the remote and the control box, except for, of course, the CO alarm. All righty. So, I'm going to pull this out so I can show you guys how we turn it on. I have it hooked to the battery, which is just a 12 volt battery. I went ahead and put the exhaust pipe on, and I put the vent. Okay, let's talk about the exhaust pipe for a minute. You don't want to point this exhaust pipe back over here to where it's sucking air in to blow into your truck. Just pure common sense, all right? So always point this away from this intake. The burner sucks air from underneath into the burner and out through here. These two things, the air that goes into your truck or your tent or whatever, isn't part of that burn chamber. The way it heats that air is it blows air past the outside of that burn chamber. Same way as it works on a furnace in your house. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about when you first get it, you put diesel fuel in, and then there's these two buttons right here. And what you do is you press them at the same time when it's off, and that will start the pump. And you want to let that pump click for a few, 30 seconds or so. So you just hold these two buttons down at the same time for about 30 seconds. And what that'll do is, because the tubes, the fuel lines are empty for that original startup, you need to get fuel from your tank to the burner. So like I said, press these two buttons, the up and down arrow, at the same time. You'll hear the pump come on, let it click for about 30 seconds, and then just go ahead and fire it up. And this is so easy. To start it, all you do is hit the power button. And there it all comes on. It says I have 13 volts coming into it. That's perfect. And then to start it, I just hold this button down for a second. You can hear it come on. Now I can set this anywhere from H1 all the way up to H10. And 10 is the highest setting, 1 is the lowest setting. So let's start this at about 8. For those of you that aren't familiar with the way these work, there is a glow plug in there, just like in a diesel truck. And that glow plug is going to heat up the diesel fuel until it starts to combust. Once diesel fuel starts combusting, it's a chain reaction. And the glow plug will then turn off. That makes these diesel heaters super efficient in the use of electricity. Yeah, it's going to draw that 11.5 to 12 amps, but it's only for about a minute or so until it actually starts its process. And then after that, when this is running wide open, you're only going to be drawing like maybe 3 or 4 amps. And when it's on the very lowest setting, here, the pump just came on. You can hear it coming through the burn chamber. I was reaching for that mic. See if you could hear it. And you can see a little bit of smoke coming out, but that'll only be in the beginning. And plus this is a new unit, so it's still burning stuff off. But once this kicks down to that lower setting, you're only using like a half of an amp. And that means that, good Lord, this is a 50 amp hour battery. I can go 100 hours of running this on low. And there you have it. This thing is doing what it is designed to do. Listen how quiet it is. It's already blowing nice warm air. And it will get warmer because I have it on, 8 out of 10. Okay, I can sit here and we can listen to this thing run, but I've basically explained this setup to you. And I'm going to say it again. I reviewed a lot of items over the years and many diesel heaters. And this, like I said, by far is the most advanced diesel heater that I've ever seen. And there you have it. That thing is running really well. To turn it off, all we do is hit the power button, hold it in, it says off. Now, here's an important thing. Never unplug it until this shuts off completely on its own. because it's going through a cool down cycle. And you want it to cool off before that fan stops blowing. If not, your electronics inside are going to get too hot. So just remember, when you turn it off, you've got about a 2-minute cool down period. So just wait for it to shut off and then you can unplug it. This is hot, so don't be grabbing that. All righty. I think I covered everything. Who knows? I want to thank my friends at Hcalory for sending me this bad boy. If you are interested in it, I will leave a link. But this is a fine, fine product. And check it out. All righty. Hope to see you on the next one. Later.